we've been freed from the sin nature. Now, that means that we actually can live a life of righteousness. We have that freedom to do that now. Now, the truth is the doctrine given to us by Paul through which we have victory over the sin. So, when it talks about applying the truth, so we have victory over our sin nature. And of course, that's in Romans chapter 6, verses 4 through 6, where we were just at, verse 11 and verse 13. Those are the verses that you really want to remember when it comes to overcoming those desires that you have that are from the flesh. And these would be desires to do what is wrong. And that would be know, reckon, and yield. Know that you have died with Christ and been raised to walk in newness of life. Count that to be true. And then reckon. So that would be the reckoning part. And then yield your members to righteousness. Start living out that righteousness that you have in Christ. We also see that Jesus actually referenced this over in John chapter 8 and verse 32. John chapter 8 and verse 32, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, in the context here, he's not talking about just any truth, although interestingly enough, truth does have an element of freedom involved with it. But it depends on what side of the truth you're on, because sometimes when truth gets exposed, people don't get freedom because what they're doing is actually being exposed for what it truly is. What it's saying here, and Jesus actually explains this in verse 34. Jesus answered them, and these are those who said, well, these are the unbelieving Jews that responded, we've never been held in captive by anybody. And Jesus says, most assuredly I say to you, whoever commits sin is a slave of sin. So now you're a slave to the sin nature, and therefore you must ultimately abide by it. Walking in newness of life involves the conduct that seeks righteousness and ultimately rejects the desires from the sin nature.